Well, we have now got the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Mr. Hunt, on the line from Liverpool. Mr. Hunt, good morning.
Morning, Amol.
Good to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed. I know it's a busy day. I want, if I may, to go through a few of the key policy areas you covered yesterday. What about the millions of people who, as a result of fiscal drag, are going to be paying significantly more by the end of this Parliament than they were at the start of this Parliament? They call you the fiscal drag queen of British politics, don't they? And with good reason. The net effect of your time in number 11 is that taxes are still going up. It's just they're not going up by as much as they were 6 months ago, but they're still going up, aren't they? We're still going to have, by the end of this Parliament, taxes at their highest level since 1948. Now, there might be good reasons for that, but it's a bit rich for you to cast yourself as a tax-cutting chancellor when taxes are going up to record levels, which is why I want you to be frank with people and frank with our listeners that there are losers from your plans as well as winners.
Well, let's talk about this very frankly. We decided to support families when we had a once-in-a-century pandemic. But let's look at someone on average wage. Next year, you talked about fiscal drag. I don't think I've been called a drag queen before, by the way, Amol, but there we are.
It was a fiscal drag queen. Fiscal drag queen. Just to be really clear, though, you're trying to cast yourself for understandable reasons as someone who has reduced the burden on people, which you've done with the moves on national insurance. But overall...
Amol, I'm going to correct you right there because you're not characterising what I'm saying at all. I'm being completely honest that we have had to put up taxes. What I'm saying is I am the person and the Conservative Party are the party that want to bring those taxes back down.
Sure, but for most people, the taxes are going up. That's all I'm saying. For most people, the taxes are going up and sharply.
I've been completely honest about that.
Okay,
we know that we have to bring down. We know that we've had to put them up. We want to bring them down. Let's have that frank. In British politics.
Let's have that frank conversation about productivity. I'm glad you're approaching this in the spirit of frankness. You've persuaded the OBR that you can save.
I always do, by the way, Amol.
Good,
so,
good.
Fire away.
You've persuaded the OBR that you can save billions and billions and billions through increased productivity. You've launched something called the Public Sector Productivity Plan. It's a mildly Soviet title, but let's not be cynical.
And by doing that, which, by the way, I don't think it's Soviet. I think it's, by the way, that's the second new thing that I've been accused of today after being a
I'm glad
queen.
you approve of our phrasing. But no, it's just, I'm trying very, very hard.
Doing what the rest of the world
sure,
is doing,
and everyone is
important.
excited. I'm sorry to interrupt. Everyone is excited by the possibility of technology across multiple industries. It's while trying very hard not to be cynical. It's just that the evidence suggests that previous attempts to find productivity savings or efficiency savings, as Gordon Brown once called them, through better IT systems have not yielded anything like the results that you're saying can be found now. Let me just ask you one thing. In 2013,
I'm not let you get away with
in
that.
2013,
because you just said something that isn't true. Because the evidence is there, and I told you it was there just 2 minutes ago when I said that productivity improved between 2010 and 2019.
Okay, so how about the press release in 2013? How about this press release in 2013 from a former health secretary, which you know very well? His name was Jeremy Hunt, and it said that I want a paperless NHS by 2018. How's that going?
Well, I didn't deliver that, and hopefully what I said yesterday means I can deliver it.
So how can you find £20 billion of productivity savings when the track record is that we haven't found anything like those savings? I mean, you've said that they've had some success. They haven't found the sorts of savings you're saying could be found yesterday in your budget.
And by the way, Amol, it isn't me who's saying that we're going to hit these targets. It's the NHS themselves.
Well, have you set out the plan? Because Richard Hughes came on this programme just over an hour ago, and he was very struck by the lack of detail about your spending plans. You'll remember that he once said your spending plans, it would be generous to call them a work of fiction. I tried to see if he'd repeat the phrase, and this is what he said. He said, what we don't know is what do your plans mean for the NHS? What does it mean for transport? What does it mean for education? We don't have that detail on the spending side, but we get lots of detail about the government's plans for the tax system. And he says that after the government has given us just one number to put into our fiscal forecast for after the end of next March. So there isn't actually as much detail about your spending plans as people like the OBR need, and perhaps voters too.
Well, that's for one reason, which is that those plans are decided in a spending review.
This might be, I know you don't want it to be, and you'll say you don't want it to be, but this might be one of your last big acts in politics. Do you really think you've met the moment? This is a country ravaged by economic shocks, at best drifting, at worst stagnant. We all know about its potential, but we've had 7 quarters of falling GDP per head. That's been revised downwards. We're hooked on foreign labour. The birth rate is collapsing. Many public services are creaking. Councils are going bust. Those are facts. Has your budget really come even close to meeting the scale of the challenges this country faces?
I believe it has. And if you want gimmicks, if you want quick fixes that unravel, then I'm not your person. If you want a long-term plan to deliver better public services, to get more investment into the economy, then I have delivered packages that do that. And by the way, I think the overall characterization that you've just given of the British economy is unworthy of the BBC. Because we have grown faster.
You could criticise the BBC. The BBC is an organisation with tens of thousands of people who do lots of different things. There is no such thing as the BBC, and I'm putting to you facts about this country, which a lot of people feel.
It's unworthy of you, Amol.
Well, what have I said that's incorrect?
Well, will you let me answer the question? Can I answer it? We have grown faster than the 3 largest European economies since 2010. They are double the size of Germany's. There is tremendous potential.
Our listeners who are grateful for the BBC, our listeners who are grateful for the BBC and grateful for the journalism that the team on this programme do every single day will know that real average wages in this country will not return to 2008 levels until 2026. That is a staggering nearly 2 lost decades of pay growth. That's a Resolution Foundation that I'm quoting there. That's not about what I think. These are the facts. And it's a bit much, isn't it, for you to say, yes, we're doing this, I'm not going to do gimmicks. What people want is actually radical change, isn't it? And I suggest to you that perhaps you're not delivering it.
Well, and I disagree. And what I think Today programme listeners know is that in that period, we've had a financial crisis.
Click here for some boo-hoo-hoo sad news over at GB News.